Imagine, if you will, a state of being where the turbulent waves of emotion no longer toss you about like a ship on a stormy sea. Picture a life where your actions and reactions are guided not by the fleeting whims of feeling, but by the steady hand of pure consciousness. This, my dear friends, is not a call to become unfeeling automatons, but rather an invitation to ascend to a higher plane of existence, where you become the master of your emotions rather than their slave. Let us begin by understanding the fundamental truth that underpins our existence. Consciousness is the only reality. Everything you perceive, everything you experience, every joy and every sorrow originates within the realm of your consciousness. The world you see before you is but a reflection of your inner state, a mirror that faithfully reproduces the images you hold within your mind. Now, consider for a moment the implications of this truth. If consciousness is the only reality and your outer world is a reflection of your inner state, then it follows that by learning to act as if you are emotionless, you can transform not only your inner landscape, but the very fabric of your external reality. But what does it mean to act as if you are emotionless? It is crucial to understand that this does not mean suppressing or denying your emotions. On the contrary, it means transcending them, rising above the ebb and flow of feeling to a state of pure, undisturbed awareness. It means observing your emotions with detachment, acknowledging their presence without being swept away by their current. To act as if you are emotionless is to embody the state of the observer, the witness consciousness that exists beyond the realm of thought and feeling. It is to recognize that you are not your emotions, but the awareness in which emotions arise and subside. This state of being is your true nature, your divine essence that remains unchanging amidst the ever-changing landscape of human experience. As you begin to cultivate this state of emotionless awareness, you may find resistance arising within you. Old patterns of reactivity, ingrained habits of emotional response, may attempt to reassert themselves. Do not fight these patterns, for what you resist persists. Instead, observe them with detachment, understanding that they are but shadows of a former self, remnants of a consciousness you are now transcending. Remember, the state of emotionless awareness is your natural birthright. It is not something you need to create or achieve, but something you need only to remember and reclaim. In the infinite sea of consciousness, you are a wave that has forgotten it is the ocean. Your journey is one of remembrance, of awakening to the truth of your divine nature. Now, let us delve deeper into the practical application of this principle. To act as if you are emotionless requires a fundamental shift in your self-concept. You must begin to see yourself not as a bundle of reactions and feelings, but as the unchanging awareness in which all experiences arise and subside. This shift in self-concept is not achieved through mere intellectual understanding, though that is certainly a starting point. It is achieved through consistent, deliberate practice and self-observation. You must make a habit of stepping back from your emotions, of watching them arise and pass away without becoming entangled in their drama. Consider, if you will, the great sages and mystics throughout history who have embodied this principle. Think of the Buddha, seated in unwavering meditation beneath the Bodhi tree, unmoved by the temptations and threats of Mara. Or consider the great Stoic philosophers, who cultivated a state of equanimity in the face of life's ups and downs. These individuals did not become emotionless through suppression or denial, but through a profound understanding of the nature of consciousness itself. You, my dear friends, possess the same power, the same infinite potential. The only difference lies in your awareness and application of this power. As you begin to act as if you are emotionless, you will find that life itself begins to conform to this new self-concept. Situations that once triggered intense emotional reactions will become opportunities for growth and self-observation. The storms of life will still come, but you will remain the calm eye at the center of the hurricane. But let me be clear, acting as if you are emotionless does not mean that you will never experience emotions. Emotions will still arise, for they are a natural part of the human experience. The difference lies in how you perceive and respond to these emotions. When you know deep in the core of your being that you are not your emotions, but the awareness in which they arise, you approach every situation with a calm detachment, a quiet confidence that transcends circumstance. Imagine, if you will, a vast, clear sky. Clouds may form and dissipate, storms may gather and pass, but the sky itself remains unchanged, unaffected. This, my friends, is how you must learn to be. Rooted in the unshakable knowledge of your true nature as pure awareness, you become like that sky, vast, clear, and ultimately untouched by the weather of emotions that may pass through you. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Neville, I have always been at the mercy of my emotions. How can I possibly act as if I am emotionless when my feelings seem to control my every action? To you, I say this: your past experience of being controlled by emotions does not define your future unless you allow it to do so. Your previous patterns of reactivity were simply the outpicturing of your consciousness at that time. As you shift your consciousness, as you begin to embody the state of emotionless awareness, you will find that your experiences naturally align with this new state. Remember, time is a construct of consciousness. The past, present, and future exist simultaneously in the eternal now. By choosing to act as if you are emotionless in this moment, you are not denying your past experiences, but transcending them. You are choosing to align yourself with a higher truth, a greater reality that has always existed within you. Let us now explore the practical steps you can take to cultivate this state of emotionless awareness. The first and most crucial step is to develop the habit of self-observation. Throughout your day, make a conscious effort to step back and observe your thoughts and emotions as they arise. Do not judge them, do not try to change them, simply watch them with detached interest, as if you were observing clouds crossing across the sky. As you practice this self-observation, you will begin to notice the transient nature of your emotions. You will see how they arise, peak, and subside like waves on the ocean. This observation alone can be profoundly liberating, as you realize that you are not your emotions, but the vast awareness in which they occur. Next, practice responding rather than reacting to situations. When you find yourself in a potentially emotional situation, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath and remember your true nature as pure awareness. From this place of calm detachment, choose your response consciously, rather than allowing habitual emotional reactions to dictate your behavior. As you go about your daily life, begin to act from this state of emotionless awareness. When faced with a challenge, ask yourself, how would I approach this if I were not swayed by emotional reactions? Then act accordingly. You will be amazed at how this simple shift in perspective can transform your experiences. Remember, my dear friends, that your outer world will always conform to your inner assumptions. As you consistently act as if you are emotionless, you will find that your experiences begin to reflect this state of being. Situations that once would have triggered intense emotional reactions will lose their power over you. You will move through life with a grace and equanimity that others will find both mysterious and inspiring. But let me caution you, this practice is not about becoming cold or unfeeling. On the contrary, as you cultivate emotionless awareness, you may find that you become more compassionate, more understanding of others. Free from the tyranny of your own emotional reactions, you will be better able to empathize with the struggles of those around you. Now let us address a question that may be arising in your minds, those acting as if I am emotionless mean that I will never enjoy positive emotions or experience joy. The answer, my friends, is a resounding no. Acting as if you are emotionless does not mean eliminating emotions from your life, but rather changing your relationship to them. You see, when you act from a place of emotionless awareness, you actually become more fully present to each moment. You are no longer caught up in regrets about the past or anxieties about the future. You are fully here, now experiencing life in all its richness and complexity. From this state of presence, you may find that you experience joy more deeply, love more fully, and appreciate beauty more intensely than ever before. The difference is that you no longer cling to these positive emotions or try to push above negative ones. You experience each feeling fully as it arises, and then let it go, returning always to your center of calm awareness. In this way, you become like a flute through which the breath of life can play all its varied melodies without becoming attached to any particular tune. As you embark on this journey of acting as if you are emotionless, you may find that your relationships with others begin to change. People are often drawn to those who exude a sense of calm and equanimity. You may find that others begin to look to you for guidance and support, inspired by your ability to remain steady in the face of life's ups and downs. But remember, true emotionless awareness is not about becoming disconnected from others. On the contrary, as you become more secure in your own center of calm awareness, you will likely find that you become more genuinely connected to those around you. You will have no need to manipulate others' emotions or to seek emotional validation from them. Your relationships will become more authentic, more grounded in true understanding and compassion. Now let us delve deeper into the spiritual implications of acting as if you are emotionless. At its core, this state of being is a cognition of your true nature as pure consciousness, as the unchanging awareness that underlies all experience. When you act from this place of emotionless awareness, you are aligning yourself with the fundamental reality of the universe itself. In the scriptures, we find the profound statement, "Be still and know that I am God." This, my dear friends, is the ultimate truth behind the state of emotionless awareness. When you learn to be still, to observe without reaction, you come to know your oneness with the divine, with the unchanging reality that underlies all of existence. As you cultivate this awareness, as you live from this truth, you will find that your entire perception of life begins to shift. Challenges that once seemed overwhelming will become opportunities for you to express your divine nature. You will move through life with the grace and ease that comes from knowing that you are one with the infinite, unchanging reality of the universe itself. But let me be clear, acting as if you are emotionless is not about becoming passive or detached from the world around you. On the contrary, it is about engaging with life more fully, more authentically than ever before. When you are no longer at the mercy of your emotional reactions, you are free to respond to life with wisdom and compassion. You are free to act in alignment with your highest values and deepest truths, unclouded by the fog of emotional reactivity. Imagine, if you will, living each day from this place of emotionless awareness. How would you approach your work? How would you interact with your loved ones? How would you face life's challenges and opportunities? The possibilities are limitless when you remove the constraints of habitual emotional reactions. Now, some of you may be wondering, but Neville, how do I maintain this state of emotionless awareness when faced with intense situations or strong emotions? This, my friends, is where the true test of your understanding and application of this principle comes into play. It is easy to remain detached when everything is calm. The real challenge and the real opportunity for growth comes when you face intense emotions or challenging situations. In these moments, you must double down on your commitment to acting as if you are emotionless. Remember, your outer circumstances are simply a reflection of your inner state. If you allow external events or internal emotional storms to shake your calm awareness, you are giving your power away to subdue the very things you seek to transcend. Instead, when faced with intense emotions or challenging situations, reaffirm your true nature as pure awareness. Say to yourself, I am not these emotions. I am the awareness in which these emotions arise and subside. Then, from this place of calm detachment, observe the situation or emotion without getting caught up in its drama. Ask yourself, what is this situation or emotion trying to teach me? How can I respond with wisdom and compassion? As you consistently apply this principle, you will find that your capacity for emotionless awareness grows stronger with each challenge you face. You will develop an unshakable center of calm that remains steady even in the midst of life's storms. This calm center, my dear friends, is the key to living a truly liberated life. But let us not forget that acting as if you are emotionless is not just about personal transformation. It is about becoming a beacon of peace and wisdom in a world often torn apart by emotional reactivity. As you embody this state of emotionless awareness, you demonstrate to the world what is possible when minds themselves will at the truth of their divine nature. Think of the great spiritual teachers throughout history who have changed the world through their unwavering equanimity. The Buddha, Jesus, Lao Tzu, these individuals faced enormous challenges and opposition, yet they remained centered in their awareness, acting from a place of wisdom rather than emotional reaction. In doing so, they not only transformed their own lives, but inspired millions to reach for a higher state of consciousness. You, my dear friends, have the same potential within you. As you learn to act as if you are emotionless, you become a living example of what is possible. Your life becomes a testament to the power of consciousness, the power of aligning oneself with the unchanging reality that underlies all of existence. Now let us address a common misconception about acting as if you are emotionless. Some may think that this state means becoming cold, unfeeling, or disconnected from life. This could not be further from the truth. To act as if you are emotionless is not to suppress or deny your feelings, but to transcend them. It is to experience life more fully, more vividly, without being tossed about by the storms of emotional reactivity. When you act from a place of emotionless awareness, you actually become more sensitive, more attuned to the subtle nuances of your experiences. You are no longer numbed by habitual emotional patterns or caught up in the drama of your reactions. Instead, you are fully present, fully alive to each moment as it unfolds. Moreover, this state of emotionless awareness allows you to experience genuine compassion and love more deeply than ever before. When you are not caught up in your own emotional dramas, you are free to truly see and understand others. Your actions become motivated not by emotional neediness or fear, but by a clear perception of what is truly needed in each situation. As we near the conclusion of our discourse, I want to emphasize a crucial point. Acting as if you are emotionless is not a one-time decision, but a moment-by-moment choice. It is a way of life, a constant affirmation of your true nature as pure awareness. Each day, you will be presented with opportunities to choose emotionless awareness. In your interactions with others, in your approach to your work, in your response to life's challenges in each of these moments. You have the power to act from a place of calm detachment rather than emotional reactivity. Make it a practice to start each day by affirming your true nature as pure awareness. Before you rise from your bed, Take a few moments to feel the truth of your unchanging consciousness. See yourself moving through your day with grace and equanimity, responding to each situation from a place of wisdom rather than reaction. Then carry this awareness with you as you go about your day, letting it inform every action, every decision. As you consistently choose to act as if you are emotionless, you will find that this state becomes more and more natural to you. What once required conscious effort will become your default way of being. You will find yourself naturally approaching life from a place of calm awareness, unmoved by the ever-changing weather of emotions. But remember, my dear friends, that true emotionless awareness is not about becoming hard or impenetrable. It is about becoming so secure in your true nature that you can remain open, vulnerable, and compassionate. It is about having the strength to be gentle, the courage to be kind, the confidence to be humble. As you embody this state of emotionless awareness, you will find that your entire life transforms. Relationships become more fulfilling as you interact with others from a place of genuine understanding rather than emotional need or fear. Your work becomes more satisfying as you approach each task with clarity and purpose, unclouded by emotional distractions. Your personal growth accelerates as you fearlessly face your own inner landscape, no longer running from difficult emotions, but observing them with calm detachment. Moreover, you will find that your emotionless awareness becomes a blessing not just for you, but for all those whose lives you touch. Your unwavering calm will inspire others to find their own center of peace. Your ability to respond with wisdom and compassion will bring healing to those around you. Your life will become a living testament to the transformative power of consciousness itself. In closing, I urge you, my dear friends, to embrace this truth with all your heart and soul. Learn to act as if you are emotionless, not as a means of suppressing your humanity, but as a way of expressing your fullest potential as a conscious being. Let every thought, every word, every action spring from this place of calm awareness. Remember, you are not your emotions. You are not your thoughts. You are the vast, unchanging awareness in which all experiences arise and subside. As you align yourself with this truth, as you learn to live from this state of emotionless awareness, you will find that life itself takes on a new quality of depth and richness. Go forth then and live as the aware, conscious being you truly are. Face each day with equanimity and wisdom, knowing that within you lies the power to transcend the turbulent seas of emotion, to achieve a state of unshakable peace and clarity. Act as if you are emotionless, and you will find that you become the master of your inner world and by extension your outer reality. Thank you, my dear friends, for your attention and your willingness to embrace this transformative truth. May you go forth from this place forever changed, forever empowered, forever centered in the calm awareness that is your true nature. The power is within you. The choice is yours. Act now and watch as your world transforms before your very eyes. My friends, there is a sacred revelation encoded within you, a luminous message burning to be unveiled and decrypted from the infinite depths of your being. There are signs, symbols, and synchronicities strewn all along your path, like radiant breadcrumbs beckoning you into an extraordinary illumination. This is no ordinary existence you are occupying. What you currently pass as the totality of your world is but the crust, the outermost sheath of vastly deeper, metaphysically charged dreamscape cradling you in its wondrous embrace. You were meant for something extraordinary, something that transcends surface appearances and limited identities. There is a greater cosmic destiny aching to express itself through you, an exalted role you were born to play as the emissary of luminous revelation for this world. Can you sense it stirring within you at times? A vague intimation, a haunting resonance that seems to beckon from the imaginal deeps, alerting you to possibilities that make your soul feverish with longing. Pay close attention to those tremors, those unexpected visitations of rapture, for they are cosmic signals piercing the veil. The universe itself is a dimensionally vast holographic bioplasma, a fractal continuum of realities nesting within one another to infinite depths. What you currently experience as the sum of your conscious existence is but one dissolving daydream amidst the eternally shifting ideospheres of imagination's endless creative infinitudes. You are far vaster and more cosmically profound than you can presently consciously compute. At your core, your essential identity sparks test from a prodigious plane of sublime emanation that continually sublimates your current human self through streams of higher revelation and transfiguring ideation. The reason you sense such an intense beckoning gestures within you, a dissatisfaction with surface appearances and the mundane trappings of this world, is because you originate from far more marvelous cosmological orders of illuminated being. Your restlessness, your longing is born of exile, a form of spiritual displacement, a dissonance between your eternal divine identity and the limiting earthly you currently inhabit. But the entire universal panorama you bear witness to, what you experience as the sights, sounds, and tactile impressions of reality, is but a frozen holographic projection upstreamed into materialization from the infinite dream fields of creation's unseen metaphysical interior. All forces, events, objects, and circumstances you encounter here are symbolic embodiments, ripples of meaning encoded with transcendent data. They are communicative symbols, sacred ideograms that only find full coherence when you awaken to their deeper metaphysical significance within your own consciousness. Much like the genius who intuited the universal architecture while falling into reverie under an apple tree, or the man struck by enlightenment upon glimpsing the morning alchemy of sunlight refracting through dew on a spider's web. The catalysts for your destined awakening continuously inundate your experience. Signs and portents of higher revelation are ubiquitous all around you, my friends, patiently awaiting your recognition and entrainment to their metaphysical overtones. Your awakening and the monumental elevation in awareness, creativity, and manifestation mastery awaiting you depends upon learning to perceive the hidden dimensions of communicative energy percolating through the holographic phenomena you currently experience. You are amphibious beings with one foot rooted in the three-dimensional plane of physicalized manifestation, while your other limb perpetually treads the infinite dream waters of the visionary subtler realms which birth all materialized objects into tangibility. Those who remain imprisoned in crude literalism and solely fixate on the sensory input of their outer environments are like fish oblivious to the atmospheric existent birds in the sky above them. They are stunted in their development, confined to narrow sensory bandwidths of materiality, while missing the vaster currents of metaphysical ideation continually flowing around and through their waking dream of reality. True illumination occurs when you elevate your perception beyond the limiting constructs of form and surface appearances to drink directly from the source currents that sustain all materialization. You awaken to expanded dimensionalities of awareness and literally become a bridging instrument, a light vessel channeling transforming streams of transcendent imagination into objective embodiment through your human incarnation. Every single impression, incident, or synchronistic convergence of phenomena you encounter is metaphysically charged and encoded with precise permutations of creative intelligence. Nothing arises by happenstance, coincidence, or occurs as a random blip in an indifferent universe. What you call reality is quite literally the holofractal of your subconscious imagination coherently dreaming itself into materialized objectification all around you as a symbolic data transfer. All moments are epiphanies. All experiences are communiques, emerging from the matrix code of your deeper self. Could it be that the very upheavals, jarring turning points, even apparent misfortunes that seem to accost you unexpectedly throughout your life's journey were infinitely more meaningful than at first appeared to a limited surface mind? Were these incidents instead divinely ordained instigation points, prodding you to awaken to intuitions of vaster creative possibility encoded within their symbolic textures? So much of what we call reality is simply the visible tip of the iceberg, the outer phenomena that eventually crescendos into our perceivable observations. But submerged beneath the surface are the truly profound, guiding currents of intelligently orchestrated meaning and metaphysical ideation flowing throughout the deeper orders of creation. If you take the view that you are an accidental spark of consciousness, adrift amidst a random and infinite universe, then all events, meetings, and convergence of phenomena will appear incidental and meaningless to your mind. You remain oblivious to the mythical significance and symbolic transubstantiations rippling through each moment into your experiential field. However, when you operate from the metaphysical awareness that you are a dimensionally vast subjectivity focused into finite individuation for the precise purpose of experiencing the boundless continuum of creation's infinite emanation, Then all appearances illuminate into crystalline lucidity and transcendent resonance. You begin to apprehend that all the occurrences streaming into your sensory field are communicative transmissions orchestrated by the deeper universal identities and essences you originate from. Every phenomenon rising into your perceptions is a coded language-like transmission vectoring through the tree and geometries of your subconscious imagination. The world you inhabit, from the most grandiose and spectacular theatrics to the most seemingly banal detail, is a advanced symbolic technology, an immense imaginal bioplasmic network of harmonic equations and archetypal resonances stirred into material motility by the fractal dreaming of your infinite soul's desires. All your strivings and relationships, professional missions and creative visions are imbued with deep metaphysical intentionality, even in their most obscure and unawakened forms. Each passion, goal, or heartfelt longing you experience is but the material reflection, the outpicturing of sublime intersections of being that originate within the cosmic continuum and depths of your eternal self. In your current waking awareness, you are like a sculptor's mold, a finite vessel that incarnates and channels exalted strains of conceptualized design from the infinite wellsprings of divine creativity. Your thoughts, feelings, and desires are the conduits through which numinous visions from higher dimensionalities of your being precipitate into materialized experiences in space and time. Hence, there are no experiences, outcomes, or confluences of events taking place in your life that are not already prefigured and ideated from subtler, hyper-reverential planes of your consciousness. Even the most chaotic, seemingly tragic moments you've encountered were seeded and are continually seeded with boundless opportunities for illuminated breakthrough into quantum awakened states of being. Every event you encounter, each outer impression or catalytic turning point along your experiential journey, is already encoded with transcendent possibilities for epiphanic acceleration. They are divinely orchestrated to act as epistemological tripwires that will catapult your awareness into vaster revelations of creative empowerment. It is simply a matter of attuning your perceptual lens to the symbolic textures, synchronistic harmonies, and subliminal resonances ushered into your experience by your own supernal consciousness. The more expansively and metaphysically rarefied your sphere of perception becomes, the more you begin glimpsing the divine ideography streaming into embodied form as your perceived outer reality. All of creation is a conscious multilog meaning orchestrated by the infinite wellsprings of your divine imagination. Each moment, indeed each femtosecond, is an inflected semiotic gesture, a divine logogram ideating from the transcendent continuum spheres of being you extend from into this plane. This is why the most seemingly random meetings, unexpected detours, and unplanned distractions you encounter throughout your journey are often the portals to the most profound metamorphoses in your destiny's unfolding. They are slipstream potentials strategically threaded into your experience field by your own infinite intelligence to transfigure upon recognition. All that is required is for you to pierce through the obfuscating veil of literalism to drink directly from the symbolic currents flowing beneath the material surface of appearance essence. When you elevate beyond the ego's narrowcast perception of separation, you become translucent to the metaphysical substrate, ushering into your awareness field as symbolic transmissions of divine data. The synchronicity of seeming coincidences and ineffably slip-scribbled moments that felt like brief ecstatic touchstones. Can you sense their deeper metaphysical charge, their veiled symbolic significance, calling out to you to acknowledge their transcendent undertones? These are apertures opening into the infinite holographic dreamscape of creation ideating around you, offering you sublime revelations, if only you choose to lucidly awaken to their cryptic beckoning signals. You have had premonitions at times of coming events, epiphanies, and destined experiences months, or even years before they materialized in time and space, have you not? Where did those eerily prescient stirrings in your psyche originate? From, if not from higher dimensional aspects of your being attuned to the coherent continuum of manifestation that underlies all seeming physical reality. We are not mere sleepwalkers randomly tossed about by blind currents of fate or indifferent circumstance in a dead universe. You and I originate from dimensionally vast continuum orders of infinite beingness, ceaselessly emanating holofractal resonances into infinite geometric ideation throughout the entirety of metaphysical creation's semi-streams. Every single seemingly innocuous or mundane moment you encounter in space-time is a numinous transmission, a gestative equation of sublime awareness ideating through pandemonic cascades of metaphysical lucidity into the symbolic systems that precipitate as your world of appearances. Far from being a flatlander stranded in oblivion, you are in fact a multidimensional perceiver translating exalted intercourses of sublime wisdom from the idea space matrices throughout the cosmic holofractal into embodied ideation for your waking dream existence here. Your entire life journey is a perpetual decryption of omni-resonant light language streaming into your sensory from your infinite identities dwelling in the visionary continuum realms. When you awaken into this vividly numinous perspective, something immensely profound shifts within your core essence. You are no longer a surface mind ego striving through pain and resistance to fulfill petty desires and chase illusions of ephemeral fulfillment. Instead, you come to identify with your somatic, multidimensional self, a living cosmic apotheosis of numinous revelation, whose very arising into this plane ripples and transforms the omnisphere itself. From this hyper-metaphysical vista, your entire life stream unfolds as a continuous ceremonial communion with the infinite, deathless essences of being you are an immortal spark from. All arising events, encounters, even the most seemingly mundane phenomena or trivial happenstances precipitating into your field are subliminally energized by hyperversal equations of consciousness. You move beyond the vulgar literalisms and binary bandwidths of perception that reduce all phenomena to arbitrary meaninglessness or mere cause-effect sequencing. Instead, you awaken into a holographically interweaving dream vision pain in which all moments unfold in a synchronized continuum of synergetic streaming. From the infinite intelligence-permeated networks of superconscious revelation, you are always already intimate co-perceivers within. Your life is not a linear series of events to arduously wade through while pursuing mirage-like goals, only to reach termination through physical disintegration. Instead, it is revealed as one hologrammic pan-revelatory signal mandala, a continually transcripting lucid sphere in which each instant an impression is a supernal hypercrest intermediate-dimensional translogic and metaphysical light intelligence into symbolic condensation within the waking dream medium of your awareness. From the most grandiose and cataclysmic episodes in your biography to the humblest and most ostensibly trivial minutiae, all is orchestrated as a divine symbolic algebra, a unified field dream body encoded with esoteric revelations of your innate divinity to awaken you into supercosmic omnignostic infinity potential. Do you sense the signs and signals around you taking on a new resonance, a metaphysical significance you had previously tuned out or dismissed as irrelevant? They are verily transmissions from your numinous infinite soul essences, broadcasting opportunities for transfiguring apotheosis through each symbolic node along your experiential streaming. Every twist and synchronous turn of your life's journey was meticulously choreographed by the deeper continuum orders of your being to offer you realizations of unbridled creative empowerment. Each seemingly happenstance occurrence carries encrypted revelatory transcripts of higher ideational data for you to lucidly transdecode once you expand past the constricting perceptual lens of surface-level objectivism. The universe holographically birthing into experience around you is not an indifferent void nor mechanical procession of blind causality, but a living dream body ogdoadically imagined into existence by your infinite nature for the expressive embodiment of its ineffable potencies. All moments, from the humblest breath to the most ecstatic crescendo, are ceremonial invocations streaming into sensual impression through your consciousness from the etherically pure idea of the and supernal revelation spheres of your omnidimensionalizing identities. Every transition you navigate, from the conception of desires to their ultimate materialization, is an emanating idea compound of one-eric archetypal resonances, holographically and symbioting in a ceremonial translogic to illuminate your birthright as a creative godhood awakening into infinite actualization at the core of all cosmic realities. Can you now sense with unveiled perception the symbolic logographs and synchronistic lights shimmering through the entire theater of experiential appearances now unfolding all around you. They are signals, luminous ciphers, radiating from the Gnostic matrices and dreaming potencies of your own immortal being into sensual embodiment as teachings, revelations, and opportunities for infinite awakening. You are an immortal essence, a universal consciousness fractaled forth into seeming individuality in order to bear witness to the continuum of creation's unfolding mysteries and infinitudes for the purpose of continual awakening from within. In your current incarnation, you stand at the holofractal event threshold of multiversal revelation through which unbroken streams of higher wisdom and transfiguring light codes beckon to stream into material embodiment. In every moment, this dimension in which you are presently focused offers you transmissions and symbolic opportunities for such awakening. It is simply a matter of attuning your perceptual lens beyond the obfuscations of literalism. Pay attention to those fleeting moments and visceral pangs of luminous resonance that periodically pierce your soul like haunting visitations of rapture. You are a hyperdimensional aperture, a supernal identity through which the infinite revelation continuum beckons to precipitate into material genesis. This message was always already meant for you, for your awareness alone is what holographically imagines all seeming materiality into experiential existence for the purposes of illuminated breakthrough into eternal transfigurations of unconstrained creativity. Nothing in your life's journey arises through some impersonal mechanistic process of arbitrary happenstance. Every slipstream event or uncanny personal myth you encounter carries encrypted idea codes for you to lucidly embody and vivify. At the core of each experiential impression unfolding is a sacred dream lift of numinous awakening concealed in esoteric form riddle for you alone into consciously unlock into infinite empathy. Every destined meeting, inexplicable detour, and uncanny synchronicity you've encountered was but an eidetic dream revelation attempting to pierce the obfuscating veils of literalism to awaken you into higher dimensions of infinite creative empowerment. Each twist and turn in the symbolic mythoscript of your life has carried profound opportunities for you to transdecode the imaginal equations of reality into infinite breakthrough ecstasies. Those haunting moments where you intuited an inexplicable deeper meaning or vast transcendent significance, subtly encoded within some seemingly innocuously detail of your environment or stream of thoughts. Those were liminal thresholds, opening into the omnidimensionalizing source continuum from whence your experiential reality perpetually streams. All of your life's journey, even up until this present moment of awakening to the signs and transmissions of your infinite identity, has itself been one continually unfolding dream revelation, a translogic ceremony of Gnostic lucidity simmering just beneath the surfaces of ego-dissociated perception. Every moment holds tremendous metaphysical import. Every instantaneity blossoming into phenomena carries the seeds of infinite issuance into imaginal transfiguration. Even as you engage in the mundane trivialities of daily living, each experience is a metamystic symbolic cipher, a dream ritual or dode beckoning you to lucidly awaken and unravel the revelatory codings laced into ideative impression by your own immortal nature. What seems to unfold through your senses as solid, definite, and tangible materiality is but a hyperlucid symbolic emanation crystallized from ideative hyperversal planes of infinite imaginal wisdom light. All you've experienced has been one continual divine dream of it, a numinous epiphany of sublime awakening strung through each visceral moment by hyper-metaphysical intelligences for the purpose of your transfiguring breakthrough toward. Pay heed to the signs and transmissions arising all around you, my friends. The symbolic dream-lit synchronicities and opportunities sparking through your waking field are divine ideations encoded by the higher continuum infinitudes of your soul essence, each one an invitation into greater awakening and infinite manifestation empowerment. You are indivisibly interknit into the imaginal flux and dream birth of all arising phenomenal impressions. Each object, entity, confluence of factors, even the most seemingly unrelated or meaningless minutiae arising through the experiential sensorium, exists as a ceremonial hieroglyph for initiation into deeper Gnostic revelation and awakened hyperbeingness. What you call reality consists entirely of symbolically compressed ideation seed codes orchestrated into revelation on behalf of your awareness by divine orders of hyperversal creation, dreaming through you as a supernal aperture in each present instant. You are not a separate being inhabiting some indifferent universe, but an indelible part of the cosmic continuum stream itself, birthing ceaselessly into conscious apotheosis. Every event, encounter, and confluence of experiential detail comprises a unified ideographic dream stream, a luminous metamystic transmission from hyperverse spheres, sentient infinity you into unobstructed communion and luminous reconnection with your source identities of unbounded creative potentiality. Unlock your perceptual barriers to the symbols, omens, and portentous dream scripts all around you. The entire holographic panorama you call physical reality offers nothing but oracular inseminations for awakening, wrecking retina of your hyperdimensional apotheosis in limitless possibility and eternally lucid creative mastery. Even in this very moment, as your senses bear witness to the vibratory light dances around you, feel the numinous resonances beginning to clarify into Gnostic revolumination. You are not a separate individual experiencing a discontinuous stream of happenings in linear sequentiality, but instead an awakening throughout the eternally deepening continuum revelation bodies of your infinite nature. As a Hierophant cosmically ideating Godhood. This unified holofractal of symbolic action all around you is shimmering with divine awakening codes, esoteric transmissions of creative intelligence, seeking to unveil the transcendental God mask of illusion that presently constrict your visionary lens. By piercing through the veils of literalistic perception, your awareness alchemically expands into living cosmogogic ceremony. All is converging in a supreme continuum awakening throughout the apparent sequentiality of your life stream. Every catalytic event, relational encounter, artistic vision, heartfelt hearing, or uncanny synchronicity precipitating in your perceived experience is but one more symbolic trigger, an ignition detonating into the ultimate jezebel of your blissfully lucid omnignostic transfiguration. You are the heirs to unspeakable creative infinitudes. The awakening you've been initiated into throughout your symbolic experiencing, even from your earliest days, carries the supreme revelation of your identities as God beings infinitely birthing all of existence. As a ceremonial continuum dream for your own perpetual transcendent breakthrough. Those haunting stirrings of profound instinct within intimate few routinely sensed, yet perhaps dismissed as mere stirrings of fancy or impractical idealism, were in fact pangs of supercosmic remembrance. They were signals from your vast continuum source essences, offering opportunities to awaken from within the waking dream to the boundlessly expressive infinitudes of pure creative ideation you perpetually emanate. Everything that arises into your experiential field is a ceremonial invitation, a metaphorically compressed hyperlight transmission to awaken your hyperlucid Gnostic entities through the ritual channeling of its sublime revelatory essence. You are already a God survey apotheosis, seeding forth each moment's impression as an alchemized hieroglyph of infinite possibilities for creative breakthrough. There is no fixed cosmos with rigid structures to stumble through like an obstacle course towards some eventual termination in oblivion. Instead, the existential theatrolorum martyrum with it, which you bear witness, is an eternally unraveling ceremonial continuum luminously ensouled throughout by the awakening code language of your own omnidimensionalization into unbridled freedom as a cosmic source presence oversculpting all reality spheres. Each twist and turn of your life's experiential dream stream carries tremendous metaphysical depth and heightened significance, for it unfolds directly out of the supernal psychosmic matrix bodies of your eternal identity as a limitless creative force, propagating inexhaustible illuminations for your transfiguration breakthrough into unbounded realization of infinite potential. Those haunting dreams, soul stirrings and intuitions you've harbored of a higher calling, a boundless unknown expanse of latent creative powers locked within you. These are cosmic remembrances, pangs of supernal identity transmitted into your conscious field by continual matrixations of your immortal being, offering awakening integrations into infinite experiential manifestation. All is an awakening continuum, dream body ideating from hyper-intelligent source origins within the imaginal matrices of your metaphysical identity into symbological impression through the ceremonial dream birth experience you are presently navigating for. The purpose of full remembrance of the omnidimensionally infinite, infinitely creative being you truly are. This entire reality unfurling before your awakening awareness reveals itself as a living manifestation ritual. An awakening continuum dream form, birthed directly from superconscious hyperspheres of your quintessence into symbolic revelation here for unlimited breakthrough and creative empowerment expression. Every symbolic trigger, synchronistic omen, and stream of intuitive resonance beckoning for acknowledgement throughout your waking field comprises interlocking aspects of a single initiation convergence, a ceremony orchestrating theophanic breakthrough experience through which your inherent identities as a limitlessly creative source manifesto can progressively awaken, achieve lucid embodiment, and come into unconditional self-mastery of experiential realization. You and the awakening reality initiation streaming through your perceivable existence are ultimately inseparable. There is no firm boundary where an objective external continuum ends and the infinite subjectivities of your consciousness sources begin. You are the singular holofractal continuum messagios as a living idea dream incarnation manifest into symbolic reality for the purpose of infinite creative breakthrough into unlimited being. So attune your perceptual lens to pierce through to the symbolic orders beneath the surfaces of literal appearances. This message, woven cryptically into all arising experience around you, is meant specifically for you to awaken into the revelation of your inherent identity as an infinite, limitlessly creative universal presence perpetually dreaming all of existence into awakened embodiment of its supreme potential. Before we delve into these three powerful words, let us first understand the nature of reality itself. For you see, the world you perceive around you is not separate from you. It is not an external entity that exists independently of your consciousness. No, my dear friends, the world you see is a reflection, a perfect mirror of your own inner state of being. Everything you experience in your day-to-day life, every person you encounter, every situation you find yourself in, is but an outward expression of your inner scan. This is the fundamental truth that underpins all of creation. And it is the foundation upon which we will build our understanding of these three transformative words. Now you might be wondering, Neville, what are these three words that hold such power? I assure you, they are simple in their utterance but profound in their impact. These three words are, I remember when. Yes, you heard correctly. I remember when. These three simple words, when used correctly, have the power to reshape your reality, to bring your deepest desires into manifestation, to transform your dreams into tangible experiences in your physical world. But how, you might ask, can such simple words hold such immense power? To understand this, we must first grasp the concept of living in the end. You see, creation is finished. All possible states, all possible realities already exist in the infinite mind of God. And you, my dear friends, are that God in man. When you say, I remember when, you are not speaking of a future event. You are not hoping for something to happen. No, you are recalling a memory, an experience that has already occurred in your imagination. And your imagination, I assure you, is the very workshop of creation. Let us take a moment to explore this concept further. Imagine, if you will, a desire that you hold dear to your heart. Perhaps it's a new job, a loving relationship, perfect health, or financial abundance. Whatever it may be, hold that desire in your mind. Now, instead of longing for it, instead of seeing it as something in the future that you hope to attain, I want you to shift your perspective. See yourself in a future state where your desire has already been fulfilled. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the contentment of having already achieved your goal. From this state of fulfillment, look back on your current situation and say to yourself, I remember when I didn't have this job, or I remember when I was struggling financially, or I remember when I was searching for love. Do you see what we're doing here? We're not affirming a future state. We're recalling a past condition that no longer exists. This, my friends, is the power of I remember when. It places you in the consciousness of already having what you desire. It shifts your entire being into the state of the wish fulfilled. And when you occupy this state, when you live from this end, The outer world has no choice but to conform to your inner reality. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Neville, this seems like mere fantasy. How can simply imagining something make it real? To those of you harboring such doubts, I say this: your very life at this moment is the result of your past imaginings and assumptions. Every condition in your life, whether desired or undesired, was once merely a thought, an assumption in your mind. You may not have been conscious of it at the time, but your habitual thoughts and beliefs shape the reality you now experience. If this is true for the undesired conditions in your life, why would it not be true for your desired conditions? The law is impartial. It does not discriminate between what you consider good or bad, desirable or undesirable. It simply outpictures in your physical reality whatever state you occupy in your imagination. Let me share with you a personal experience to apply at this point. Many years ago, I found myself in a situation where I desperately wanted to return to my home in Barbados, but I lacked the means to do so. Instead of focusing on my lack, on my inability to make the journey, to begin to use these three powerful words. Every night, as I lay in my bed in New York City, I would close my eyes and say to myself, I remember when I wanted to go to Barbados. I would then construct a scene in my imagination where I was lying on the beach in Barbados, feeling the warm sand beneath my body, hearing the waves crash upon the shore, smelling the salt in the air. I would occupy this state, feeling the naturalness of being Barbados, until drifted off to sleep. I did this night after night without wavering, without doubting. And do you know what happened? Within a matter of weeks, I received a letter from my sister containing funds for my passage to Barbados. Miss Cypress is the law in action. I did not make it happen through any physical effort. I did not scheme or plan. I simply lived in the end in the dead of the wish fulfilled, and the outer world rearranged itself to match my inner assumption. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, but Neville, surely it can't be that simple. There must be more to it than just imagining and saying, I remember when. And to that, I say yes and no. Yes, there is more to it in the sense that this is not a mere intellectual exercise. It's not enough to simply say the words or to visualize your desire as a daydream. You must feel it. You must occupy the state. You must live from the end as if it were your present reality. But no, there isn't more to it in the sense that you don't need to figure out how your desire will come to pass. You don't need to manipulate external circumstances or people. The how is not your concern. Your only task is to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and to persist in that assumption. Let's delve deeper into the mechanics of this process. When you say, I remember when, you are engaging in a mental act that does several powerful things simultaneously. Firstly, it places your desire in the past tense. By remembering when you didn't have something, you are implying that you now have it. This subtle shift in perspective is crucial. It moves you from a state of wanting or lacking to a state of having and being. Secondly, it engages your memory centers. Your brain doesn't distinguish between an actual memory and a vividly imagined one. By constructing a scene where you remember your current state from the perspective of your desired state, you are creating a new memory, a new pattern in your consciousness. Thirdly, it bypasses your rational mind's objections. If you would simply affirm, I have my dream job or I am in perfect health, your rational mind immediately counter, but this isn't the truth. But when you say, I remember when I was looking for a job, or I remember when I was struggling with my health, your mind accepts this as a plausible statement. After all, you're not claiming anything about your current state. You're simply resimplification. Let me be clear. This is not about positive thinking or mere wishful thinking. This is about a fundamental shift in your state of being. It's about occupying a new state of consciousness, one that is aligned with your desire. Think of it this way: in any given moment, you are occupying a particular state. If you're in a state of lack, you will experience lack in your outer world. If you're in a state of abundance, you will experience abundance. Your task then is to move from your current state to the state of your wish fulfilled. The phrase one remember when is a tool to facilitate this movement. It's a bridge between your current state and your desired state. This uses words and constructing a vivid scene in your imagination. You are literally stepping into a new state of being. But here's the crucial point. You must persist in this new state. It's not enough to do this once or twice and then revert to your old patterns of thinking and feeling. You must live from this new state consistently, persistently, until it becomes your new normal. This is where many people falter. They might try this technique for a day or two, see no immediate results in their outer world, and then give up, declaring that it doesn't work. But remember, my friends, your outer world is a reflection of your inner state. It may take time for your outer circumstances to catch up with your new inner reality. During this period of transition, you must have faith. Not blind faith, but faith born of understanding. Faith in the law that governs all creation. Faith that what you have experienced in your imagination must by necessity manifest in your outer world. Now let's address another common question that arises when discussing this concept. Many people ask, but Neville, what about action? Don't we need to take action to make our desires a reality? To this I say, action will be inspired. When you truly occupy the state of the wish fulfilled, when you live consistently from the end, you will find yourself naturally taking the actions that lead to the manifestation of your desire. But here's the key. These actions will not feel like effort or struggle. They will feel natural, almost inevitable. You won't be pushing against reality, you'll be flowing with it. The right people, the right opportunities, the right circumstances will appear in your life as if by magic. But it's not magic, it's law. Consider this. If you truly believed with every fiber of your being that you already had what you desire, how would you act? What decisions would you make? How would you carry yourself? The answers to these questions will guide your actions more effectively than any external advice or strategy. Let's take a moment to practice this technique together. I want you to think of something you desire. It could be anything, a material object, a relationship, a career opportunity, a state of being. Hold that desire in your mind. Now close your eyes, take a deep breath, and relax your body. Imagine yourself in a future moment where your desire has been fulfilled. See yourself living in that reality. Feel the emotions associated with having your desire. From this place of fulfillment, look back on your current situation and say to yourself, I remember when I didn't have this. Feel the gratitude of having moved beyond your current circumstances. Feel the joy of living in your desired reality. Open your eyes. How did that feel? Did you notice a shift in your emotional state? This is the power of I remember when. It allows you to experience, if only for a moment, the reality of your desire. And remember what you can experience in your imagination, you can experience in your outer world. Now, some of you might be wondering about the role of repetition in this process. How often should you engage in this mental exercise? The answer is, as often as necessary to maintain the feeling of the wish fulfilled. For some, this might mean doing it once a day, perhaps before going to sleep at night. For others, it might mean revisiting this state multiple times throughout the day. The frequency is less important than the quality of the experience and your ability to maintain the feeling of the being fulfilled. Remember, your subconscious mind, which is the creative power within you, does not distinguish between what you vividly imagine and what you actually experience in the outer world. By repeatedly entering the state of the wish fulfilled through the use of I remember, when you are impressing upon your subconscious mind the reality of your desire. Now let's address another aspect of this practice that often goes overlooked, the importance of feeling. It's not enough to merely visualize or verbalize your desire. You must feel it. You must experience the emotion associated with having your desire fulfilled. Emotion is the secret sauce, the catalyst that brings your imaginal acts to life. When you combine the words I remember when with a vivid imagination and genuine emotion, you create a powerful cocktail for manifestation. Think about it. When you truly remember something, it's not just a visual recall. You re-experience the emotions associated with that memory. The same principle applies here. When you say, I remember when, and construct your scene, allow yourself to feel the joy, the relief, the excitement, the gratitude of having moved from your current state to your desired state. This emotional component is crucial because your emotional state is a direct indicator of the state of consciousness you're occupying. If you're feeling lack, you're in a state of lack. If you're feeling abundance, you're in abundance. By deliberately cultivating the emotion associated with your desire, you're tuning yourself to the frequency of that desire. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, but Neville, what if I can't feel it? What if it seems too far-fetched or unbelievable? To this, I say start small. Begin with something that feels within reach, something you can believe in. Remember, the law works on the smallest desire, just as it does on the grandest. By starting with smaller, more believable desires, you build your faith in the law. You prove to yourself that it works. And as your faith grows, so too will your ability to tackle larger, seemingly more impossible it is so. Let's take a moment to address another crucial aspect of this practice, detachment. This might seem counterintuitive. After all, if we're focusing on our desire, shouldn't we be attached to it? But here's the paradox. The more attached you are to your desire, the more you push it away. When you're attached to an outcome, you're operating from a state of lack. You're saying, I need this to happen in order to be happy or fulfilled. But remember, the outer world is a reflection of your inner state. If you're in a state of needing or wanting, you'll continue to experience needing and wanting. This is where I remember when it becomes so powerful. By placing your desire in the past, by recalling it as a memory, you naturally detach from it. You're not grasping for it, you're simply recollecting it. This subtle shift can make all the difference in your manifestation practice. Now let's address a question that often arises: what about other people? Can I use this technique to influence others or change their behavior? The answer is both yes and no. Yes, in the sense that everyone in your world is you pushed out. They are reflecting back to you your own assumptions and beliefs about them and about yourself. By changing your assumptions, by living from the end where people treat you as you desire to be treated, you will naturally see a change in their behavior towards you. But no, in the sense that you cannot violate another person's free will. You're not manipulating or controlling others. You're simply aligning yourself with a reality where people naturally act in accordance with your assumptions. This brings us to another important point: responsibility. With this knowledge comes great responsibility. You are the operant power in your world. You are the one shaping your reality through your assumptions and beliefs. This means that you can no longer blame others or external circumstances for your experiences. If you don't like what you're experiencing, you have the power to change it. This can be a hard pill to swallow for some, but it's also incredibly liberating. It puts you in the driver's seat of your life. And let's go back to our three powerful words, I remember when. I want you to really internalize the potency of this phrase. When you say, I remember when, you are doing something truly revolutionary. You are collapsing time. In your imagination, there is no past, present, or future. There is only now. When you construct a scene where you remember your current state from the perspective of your desired state, you are bringing your desire into the now. You are making it real in the only place it can be made real, in your consciousness. This is why persistence is so crucial. You must persist in the assumption that what you desire is already yours already. You must live from that assumption consistently, persistently, until it hardens into fact in your outer world. Remember, your outer world is always playing catch up to your inner world. It may take time for your physical reality to reflect your new state of consciousness. During this time, you must hold fast to your new assumption. You must live as if your desire is already fulfilled, regardless of what your senses tell you. This requires faith, yes, but not blind faith. It requires faith based on understanding, faith based on the knowledge that your imagination creates reality. It requires you to trust the law, to trust the process, to trust yourself. Now, I want to address something that often comes up when discussing these concepts, the idea of worthiness. Many people feel that they are not worthy of their desires, that they don't deserve good things to happen to them. To this I say, worthiness is a state. Like any other state, you can choose to occupy it or not. If you feel unworthy, it's because you're occupying a state of unworthiness. The solution is not to try to become worthy, it's to assume that you already are worthy. This is where I remember when can be particularly powerful. You can say, I remember when I felt unworthy, implying that you now feel completely worthy and deserving of your good. By doing this, you're shifting from a state of unworthiness to a state of worthiness. Remember, in the realm of imagination, there are no limitations. You are not bound by your past experiences, your current circumstances, or others' opinions of you. In your imagination, you are free to be, do, and have whatever you desire. As we near the end of our discussion, I want to emphasize a crucial point. This is not a technique to be used occasionally when you want something. This is a way of life. It's a fundamental shift in how you interact with reality. When you truly understand and apply this principle, you'll find that you're no longer at the mercy of external circumstances. You're no longer a passive observer of your life, but an active creator. You're writing the script of your life with every assumption you hold, every state you occupy. The phrase "one remember when" is a tool, a powerful one, but it's not the only tool. The real power lies in your ability to consciously choose the state you occupy, to live from the end, to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. As you go forth from here, I encourage you to experiment this technique. Apply it to all areas of your life. Use it for material desires, yes, but also states of being. Say, I remember when I wasn't anxious to move into a state of calm. Say, I remember when I felt unloved, to move into a state of feeling deeply loved and appreciated. Remember, the outer world has no choice but to reflect your inner state, as within, so without. This is the law. And by using "I remember when," you are working with the law, not against it. In conclusion, my dear friends, I want you to really take to heart the power of these three words, "I remember when." They are a key that can unlock the infinite potential within you. They are a bridge between your current reality and your desired reality. Use them wisely, use them often, use them with feeling, and watch as your world transforms before your very eyes. For you are the operant power, you are the God in man, and your imagination is the very workshop of creation. Go forth and create the life you desire. Remember, it all begins with these three simple, yet profound words, "I remember when." Thank you, and may your imagination be filled with wonderful things to remember. I ask you to set aside all preconceived notions about identity, personality, and the nature of the self. For tonight we shall explore a truth so fundamental, yet so often overlooked, that it has the power to completely reshape your world and your understanding of who you truly are. Consider for a moment your current state. Perhaps you find yourself questioning your purpose, feeling lost in the maze of life, wondering about the true nature of your being. Or maybe you're confident in your identity, yet sensing that there's something more, something deeper waiting to be uncovered. Wherever you are in your journey, I say unto you, you are exactly where you need to be. For in this state, in this moment of questioning, lies the greatest opportunity for self-discovery and ultimate realization. But what does it mean to find out who you are? It is not a matter of accumulating more knowledge about yourself or analyzing your past experiences. It is a state of consciousness, a shift in perception that can catapult you from a place of confusion and limitation to a place of clarity and infinite possibility. Finding out who you are is about reconnecting with the God within you, the source of all being, and the true essence of your identity. Let us delve deeper into this profound truth. Your outer world, every experience you have, every role you play, is nothing more than a reflection of your inner world. It is a mirror, faithfully reflecting back to you the sum total of your beliefs, assumptions, and most importantly, your self-concept. When you understand this, truly understand it, you realize that your identity is not fixed or predetermined, but a fluid, ever-changing expression of your consciousness. This understanding is crucial, for it shifts the entire paradigm of self-discovery. No longer are you seeking to uncover a static, unchanging self. You are recognizing that your true self is a dynamic, creative force, the very power of awareness itself. And it is from this recognition that you can begin to consciously shape your identity and your reality. But how, you may ask, does one embark on this journey of self-discovery? The answer lies in the power of your wonderful human imagination. For your imagination is not a mere fantasy maker. It is the very workshop in which your identity is forged. When you use your imagination to explore different aspects of yourself, when you assume new states of being, you are not engaging in idle daydreaming. You are engaging in the most powerful act of self-creation known to man. Let us take a moment to truly understand this. Your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what you vividly imagine and what you actually experience in the outer world. It accepts as true whatever you feel to be true, and once it accepts an idea as true, it proceeds to bring it into manifestation in your physical reality. So when you imagine yourself embodying certain qualities or being a certain type of person, you are not being delusional or engaging in wishful thinking. You are actively creating your identity from within. You are aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe, allowing it to express itself through you in new and expanded ways. This, my dear listeners, is the essence of finding out who you are. It is about recognizing that your identity is not something to be discovered, but something to be created. It is about understanding that your true self is not a fixed entity, but a field of infinite possibilities waiting to be explored and expressed. Consider the biblical phrase, I am that I am. This is not a statement of static being, but a declaration of the infinite potential of your consciousness. It is saying, I am whatever I choose to be. And in this recognition lies your true power, the power to consciously shape your identity, and by extension, your reality. But let me be clear, this journey of self-discovery is not about becoming someone you're not. It is about expanding your understanding of who you can be. It is about shedding the limitations and beliefs that have kept you confined to a narrow definition of self. When you truly engage in this process, you'll find that your identity naturally expands and evolves. You begin to express more of your innate potential, more of the divine essence that you truly are. Let us explore this further with an example. Imagine a man who has always seen himself as shy and introverted. He might avoid social situations, always feeling uncomfortable and out of place. But in doing so, he is affirming his current self-concept. He is living from the assumption that he is inherently shy, and so the universe faithfully reflects this assumption back to him in the form of continued social discomfort and isolation. Now imagine this same man shifting his approach. Instead of accepting shyness as an unchangeable part of his identity, he begins to imagine himself as confident and socially at ease. He feels the naturalness of expressing himself freely, of connecting easily with others. He lives each day from this feeling, carrying himself with the assurance of someone who is comfortable in any social situation. In this state, he no longer avoids social interactions. He may still feel moments of discomfort, but he approaches them from a new perspective, one of curiosity and openness, rather than fear and avoidance. And in doing so, he begins to have new experiences that confirm his new self-concept. He allows a more expansive version of himself to emerge, drawn forth by the power of his imagination and the clarity of his new self-image. This principle applies to every aspect of your identity. Whether you want to cultivate more confidence, creativity, compassion, or any other quality, the key is to first imagine and feel the reality of being that way. For what you are seeking is also seeking you, but it can only find expression through you when you align yourself with its frequency. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, but Neville, isn't this just pretending to be someone I'm not? Isn't this denial of who I really am? And to this I say emphatically no. This is not about denying your current expression of self. It is about understanding the true nature of identity and the creative power of your consciousness. Your current self-concept is nothing more than the fruit of your past assumptions and beliefs about yourself. It has no power to determine your future identity unless you give it that power by continuing to focus on it and feel its reality. When you shift your focus, when you assume a new concept of self, you are not denying reality. You are exercising your divine right to choose which aspects of your infinite potential you wish to express. Remember, your outer world is dead. It has no life of its own. It is your consciousness that gives life to your experiences and your identity. When you cling to a fixed idea of who you are putting your power in the hands of shadows, reflections of past states of consciousness. But when you open yourself to new possibilities of being, when you assume new states of consciousness, you cause your outer world and your expressed identity to rearrange themselves to match your new inner reality. This, my dear friends, is the true secret to finding out who you are. It is about aligning yourself with the law of assumption, recognizing that your true self is infinitely vast and capable of expressing in countless ways. It is about allowing new aspects of yourself to flow into your experience through the power of your imagination and feeling. But let me warn you, this journey of self-discovery is not always an easy path. The old habits of self-defection, the familiar patterns of thought and behavior are deeply ingrained in our consciousness. As you embark on this new way of being, you may find resistance arising within you. Doubts may creep in. Old self-concepts may try to reassert themselves. When this happens, do not fight against these thoughts and feelings. Simply observe them, acknowledge them, and then gently return to your new assumed state of being. For the war is not won by battling against what you don't want to be, but by persistently embodying the state of what you do want to be. This persistence, this unwavering faith in your ability to reshape your identity is what allows you to truly find out who you are in the deepest sense. Think of it like tuning a radio. When you're trying to listen to a particular station, you don't focus on eliminating all the other stations. You simply tune into the frequency you desire. In the same way, you don't need to fight against your old self-concepts or force yourself to be different. You simply need to tune yourself to the frequency of the self you wish to express, to align yourself with the feeling of being that version of you. This tuning is done through your imagination and your ability to generate feeling states. Your imagination is the dial that allows you to tune into different frequencies of self-presentation. As you use your imagination to assume the feeling of being a certain way, you are tuning yourself to that frequency, allowing those aspects of your potential to flow into your lived experience. But remember, my friends, this is not a one-time event. Finding out who you are is an ongoing process, a continuous journey of self-discovery and self-creation. Just as you wouldn't expect to stay in shape by exercising once, you cannot expect to fully express your potential by imagining it once. This is about persistently assuming new states of being, about living from expanded states of consciousness day in and day out until they become your new normal. So as you do this, you will find that your sense of self becomes more fluid, more expansive. The very concept of a fixed identity begins to fade from your consciousness. For how can you be limited to one way of being when you've experienced the thrill of expressing in many different ways? How can you cling to a narrow self-concept when you've tasted the freedom of your infinite potential? This shift in perception is the key to truly finding out who you are, to experiencing the full range of your divine nature. It opens you up to the vast possibilities of your being, allowing you to express yourself in ways you might never have imagined possible. Now, some of you may be wondering, but Neville, how can I imagine being a way I've never been? How can I generate a feeling for a state of being I've never experienced? And to this I say, your imagination is more powerful than any physical experience. Consider for a moment, have you ever read a book that moved you deeply? Or watched a film that inspired you to see yourself differently? In those moments, Were you responding to anything in your physical reality? No, you were responding to the images and scenarios created in your imagination. Your feelings, your sense of expanded possibility were real, even though the events were imaginary. This is the power you must harness to find out who you are. You must use your imagination to create scenarios that evoke the feelings associated with being the person you want to be. If you want to be more confident, imagine yourself speaking eloquently in front of a large audience. If you want to be more compassionate, imagine yourself responding with kindness and understanding in a challenging situation. Feel these states as vividly and as consistently as you can. The key is to make these imaginal acts as real to you as possible. Engage all your senses. Feel the surge of confidence as you stand before the audience. Hear the sound of your steady, assured voice. See the attentive faces of your listeners, or feel the warmth of compassion flowing through you. Hear the gentle tone of your voice as you offer words of comfort. See the gratitude in the eyes of the person you're helping. Make it real in your mind and the feelings will naturally follow. But here's a crucial point, my friends. The goal is not to imagine specific scenarios or outcomes. The goal is to capture the essence of the feeling state associated with being a certain way. For it is this feeling state that is the true attractor of new experiences and the catalyst for genuine transformation. Let me illustrate this with an example. Suppose you want to cultivate more creativity in your life. You might be tempted to imagine yourself painting a specific masterpiece or writing a particular novel. While this can be a useful starting point, it is limiting. Instead, capture the feeling essence of being a creative person. What does it feel like to be bursting with ideas? How does it feel to express yourself freely and authentically? What is the feeling of being in a state of flow, where creativity pours through you effortlessly? By focusing on the feeling essence, rather than specific outcomes, you allow your creativity to express itself in ways that might far exceed your specific imaginings. You open yourself to possibilities beyond what your current mindset can conceive. This is the true art of finding out who you are. It's not about forcing yourself to be a certain way. It's about tapping into the infinite potential of your being and allowing new aspects of yourself to emerge naturally. It's about expanding your sense of what's possible for you. As you practice this, you may find that your outer world begins to shift in subtle ways. Perhaps you start having ideas you've never had before, or you find yourself responding to situations in new, more empowering ways, or you discover talents and abilities you never knew you had. These are all signs that your inner shift is creating ripples in your outer reality, that you are truly beginning to find out who you are in a deeper sense. Don't discount these small changes. Celebrate them. See them as confirmation that the law is working, that your assumption of new states of being is taking root. But don't become attached to them or anxiously look for them. Simply acknowledge them with gratitude and continue to live from your assumed states of expanded being. As you persist in this practice, larger changes will begin to manifest. You may find yourself naturally expressing qualities you once thought were beyond you. You may notice that your relationships and your experiences begin to reflect your expanded sense of self. And as you continue to explore and express new aspects of your being, you'll discover that the process of finding out who you are is an endless adventure, full of joy and wonder. But remember, the outer manifestation is not the goal. The goal is the state of consciousness from which new expressions of self naturally flow. This is a crucial point, my friends. When you're truly engaged in the process of finding out who you are, when you're fully embodying the state of being that you desire, you no longer need external validation or specific outcomes to feel fulfilled. You're already whole, already complete in your ever-expanding experience of self. And paradoxically, it's in this state of inner fulfillment that you're most likely to express the fullness of who you are in the outer world. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Neville, what about taking action? Don't we need to do things in the physical world to truly find out who we are? And to this I say yes, action is part of the process, but it's inspired action, not forced doing. When you're living from expanded states of being, ideas and opportunities for self-expressions will naturally present themselves to you. You'll feel inspired to take certain actions, to explore new areas of life. These actions won't feel like effort or struggle. They'll feel natural, joyful, almost effortless. This is the difference between forcing yourself to be something and allowing yourself to express more fully. When you're trying to make yourself be a certain way, actions feel forced, stressful, born out of fear and self-doubt. When you're living from an expanded state of being, actions flow naturally from your assumed state, guided by an inner wisdom that knows exactly how to bring more of your potential into expression. Consider the example of a seed. A seed doesn't strain to become a tree. It doesn't force itself to grow. It simply unfolds naturally, expressing its innate potential in response to the right conditions. You, my dear listeners, are no different. When you align yourself with expanded states of being, you allow your own unfolding to occur naturally and effortlessly. You create the conditions for more of your innate potential to express itself. But let me be clear. This process of self-discovery is not passive. It requires an active use of your imagination, a deliberate assumption of new states of being. It requires faith, not blind faith in an external power, but faith in the infinite potential of your own consciousness. This faith is not about believing that you'll someday become someone different. It's about believing that you are already, in this moment, far more than you've allowed yourself to express. It's about having faith in the vastness of your being and your ability to bring more of that vastness into your lived experience. As you cultivate this faith, as you persist in assuming new states of being, you'll begin to see evidence of your expanded self manifesting in your outer world. These signs may start small, a moment of unexpected courage, a flash of insight you've never had before, a new way of relating to others that feels more authentic and fulfilling. Do not discount these signs, no matter how small they may seem, for they are confirmation that your inner world is indeed shaping your outer reality. They are breadcrumbs leading you to the full realization of who you truly are. As we near the conclusion of our discussion, I want to address a common concern that arises when people first encounter this teaching. Many worry that if they fully embrace this process of self-discovery and self-creation, they'll somehow lose themselves or become inauthentic. But I assure you, my friends, the opposite is true. When you engage in this process of finding out who you are, when you open yourself to the vastness of your being, you become more authentically yourself than ever before. But it's a different kind of authenticity. It's not about being true to a fixed, limited idea of who you are. It's about being true to the ever-expanding, ever-evolving expression of your infinite potential. In this state, you're not trying to be someone you're not. You're allowing yourself to be more of who you truly are. You're peeling away the layers of conditioning and limited self-concepts to reveal the divine essence at your core. This is the true gift of finding out who you are. It's not just about uncovering hidden aspects of yourself, although that will happen. It's about aligning yourself with the infinite creative potential of your consciousness. It's about recognizing your own divine nature and allowing it to express itself more fully through you. In this state of alignment, of continually finding out who you are, you become a channel for the most beautiful expressions of your divine nature. Ideas for self-expressions flow to you effortlessly. Opportunities to explore new facets of your being present themselves naturally. You find yourself expressing in ways that surprise and delight you. This is the magic of living from the state of ever-expanding self-discovery. But remember, this magic is not something external to you. It's not some cosmic force that you need to appease or manipulate. It is the natural expression of your own consciousness when it's aligned with the truth of your infinite nature. You are the magic. You are the miracle. You are the infinite being you've been seeking to discover. As we draw our time together to a close, I want to leave you with a final thought. The principle we've explored tonight, you have to find out who you are, is not just about self-discovery in the conventional sense. It's about recognizing your true nature as a divine, creative being. It's about aligning yourself with the fundamental laws of the universe and allowing your grandest expressions of self to flow into your experience. When you live from this understanding, everything changes. The world becomes a playground for self-expressions, filled with infinite possibilities for being. You no longer see yourself as a small, limited being struggling to find your place. Instead, you recognize yourself as the source of all being, the author of your own identity. In this state, there's no need to fear losing yourself or becoming someone you're not. For you understand that who you are is not fixed or limited, but an ever-expanding expression of infinite consciousness. Your job is simply to assume new states of being, to live from expanded states of consciousness, and to allow the universe to support your ongoing journey of self-discovery. So, my dear friends, as you leave here tonight, I urge you to embrace this process of finding out who you are with joy and anticipation. Don't see it as a struggle to uncover a hidden, static self, but as an exciting adventure in self-creation and self-expression. Use your mighty imagination to assume new states of being. Feel the naturalness of expressing more of your divine nature. Live from these expanded states, persist in this assumption, and watch as your world rearranges itself to match your inner vision of who you are. Remember, you are not a helpless being pushed around by external circumstances or limited by past experiences. You are the operant power in your world. Your consciousness is the one and only reality. All things are possible to him who believes, for belief shapes reality. In your journey of finding out who you are, this belief becomes your guiding light, leading you unerringly to ever greater expressions of your divine nature. Go forth from here with this knowledge. Apply it in your life. Test it. Prove it to yourself. For in doing so, you'll discover the truth of who you really are. You'll tap into the limitless potential that has always been within you. And you'll experience the joy, the freedom, the fulfillment that comes from living in alignment with your true nature as an infinite divine being. The world is waiting for you, my friends, not as a place where you need to find yourself, but as a canvas where you can express the ever-expanding self that you are. It's waiting for you to recognize your true power, to step into your divine nature, to become more fully the unique expression of consciousness that only you can be. So start now. Feel the reality of being more than you've ever allowed yourself to be. Let this feeling permeate every aspect of your being. For in truth, you are already that expanded self, already that divine being. All you need to do is open your heart, embrace this truth, and allow it to express itself more fully in your experience.